Gosh.
The broadcast is live. Are you on time? 2 minutes.
2 minutes late. Okay.
Oh
I have the YouTube page open though, and it's still not showing. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Audio's okay. Visuals okay.
My heart. That's really more stressful than I thought it was going to be.
I know. Well, welcome to the club. At least, that's why I wanted you to do it this time, because when she goes down, I don't want to look stupid.
Oh, stop it. Do you want to say hi, baby?
Sure.
Is Jake there?
Yeah.
Jake, hey, how are you?
Doing all right about yourself? Good to see you.
I'm good to see you. How is everything?
It's
What do you got, a Moscow Mule? Jesus Christ.
No.
It's a
gin, peach lemonade, a splash of grape juice, some muddled mint.
What muddled?
How'd you muddle it?
I made a little gin, elderberry flower liqueur,
Nice.
a little lemon juice, Meyer lemon, and a touch of honey.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, I just got a little
summery. It's young. It's fresh.
Yes. Different.
That's fair.
I already forgot you said, isn't it? It's.
There's also watermelon juice.
I think the watermelon juice is in the back of my throat. So
I do love watermelon juice.
How's it going?
Long time no see.
I know. I was thinking.
We're live.
What?
Oh, we are live. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I don't have as many followers as you, Adam, so don't expect everyone to be on here immediately. But I was thinking about when we saw each other, because I feel like it was a while ago, but it was just in August, so we must have done this video last year before we saw each other.
Yes.
I don't remember when we did it last year, but
I can't believe it's almost been a year since we've seen each other.
August 21st, according to my photos on my phone.
Oh my God. And look at you now since then. You're a married woman. You're settled down. Got that ring on your finger. Hi, RF. Welcome.
Hello.
This is a tradition. The tradition continues. I'm so happy. I did think about it, but I was just like, I don't want to fucking organize that. So I was so happy when you reached out.
Well, I keep seeing all the videos pop up, and then everyone's like,
Because we usually do it early, like in May. Or something like that, something stupid.
I feel like everyone's doing it at the beginning of June, and I'm like, June hasn't finished yet, guys. You have a whole a whole month of book reading before the midpoint. But
this is our third annual mid-year book tag together. It's a tradition.
It is tradition.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Yes.
Thanks for joining me.
I'm so excited to be here. I just got off work and I'm good. I just recently switched careers and I'm now working remotely, and it's very bizarre. It's very bizarre that I suddenly have my evenings free. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself.
What were your shifts like before you switched?
Well, working in the restaurant industry, my nights would be starting at 4 or 5, so it's completely off. Now I'm getting up early and, talking to a bunch of socially inept.
So I forget, you said you're working for tech now?
Yeah, I won't go into the details, but it's,
that's good.
On the computer. I'm going like that on the computer and taking forever to do very simple things and pretending like I'm busy. That's pretty much what I'm doing.
And also, I think, no pressure to come down to Portland, but I think Kathleen might be coming.
She mentioned that. Kathleen's supposed to be in here. She lied. But yeah. I know. I would love to arrange. I was also talking to Grace and saying that we need to have a West Coast meetup, maybe in the fall, if you'd be down. Yeah.
I'm going to a wedding in November, so
October.
Not then. So do you want to? I don't know. Do you want to get started?
We need to get started. We have a lot of questions.
Or do you want to say anything about how you've been more over the last year since you haven't been on the YouTubes?
You guys, it's just, Stephanie, I'm an artist. It's not just when I come on, it has to be a deal, and it's just I haven't right in. But I'm hoping now that I am, I'm at home more. I do have more of a conventional schedule. I really do want to come back because I do miss it. But I also I've been so busy this year. This is the least amount of reading I've also done, so it's also hard when you're not reading a ton. To do that. But again, to come back in like an artistic manner where I can really kind of have fun and play around. I want to. So I'm planning. Oh, Laura, hey. I mean, it's always around the corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I'm still here. I'm still here. Okay. I'm always worried about when I leave and then come back after a long period. But I realize that I'm still got it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So do you want to go first with the first question?
Well, as our host, what are we doing?
Oh. Sorry. Hey, hi. Welcome.
It's time to read, people.
I don't even say what my name is at the beginning of my videos. I don't know how anyone knows who I am. Hello, my name is Stephanie from Time to Read, and I have the lovely Adam from Memento Mori with me to do the mid-year book freakout tag. Was that better?
Yeah, I prefer like a little hi, or like a signature, when you come on. Wowza, wowza. It's Stephanie. Oh, that's good. You need a signature or something. Well, yes, we're here together. Our third annual. This is a tradition, people. The mid-year freakout tag where we touch base on our reading at the halfway point of the year. And I'm so happy to be back with you doing this. And there's Grace. Oh, hi, Grace. How are you? I know Stephanie is bad with the humble brag. I know.
I think she was talking about you. Okay, so like what?
Continue.
Okay, so question 1 for the mid-year book freakout tag. Yeah. Best book you've read so far in 2022, Adam?
I don't think I've read it yet, Stephanie. And I was looking back, when I was picking out books for this, I realized that because I've been so busy, I have read a lot of like my regulars. So I think not necessarily because they're easy reads, but because they're familiar, right? And sometimes when you're with an author that's a familiar voice, there's kind of comfort in that. So a lot of my things are probably authors I've talked about even on previous mid-year tags. But I'm going to go with my standby, John Le Carré, The Little Drummer Girl. Super comforting read. Again, sinking into a Le Carré novel, and The Little Drummer Girl is it's phenomenal. It's about this girl, Charlie, who's an actor in an independent theater, and she's on vacation in Mykonos, and she gets recruited as an undercover agent by the Israeli Secret Service.
Oh, wow.
Against the plot of Palestinian terrorist, which makes it sound like it's like a pro-Israel sort of book, but Le Carré is, as with all his books, approaches it with much more nuance, and he kind of approaches it from both sides. And especially for something that was published in 1983, discussing that conflict when it was very different, and people's perceptions of it compared to now were very different. He does approach it with really fairly, I think, and it's just a really, as all his books, it's just a gripping tale. So that's the best thing I've read so far this year. My man, John Le Carré. He's still got it, Grace.
Man, I still need to.
We're going to talk about the Cormac McCarthy. Just oh, are you ready?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I have like a first place and a runner up because
Stephanie, that's not in the rules.
I understand, but it's my channel, my rules, right?
Oh, here we go. Humble brag.
So I feel like my favorite book so far of the year I just recently read, and it's Virgin with a Memory by Sophia Almeria. And so good. I just gushed about it in my June wrap up because I finished it like at the very beginning of July. But it's basically this woman, Sophia Almaria. She was trying to make a movie called Beretta, which is a rape revenge movie, and like through various, so it just didn't end up getting made. And so the book goes back and forth between the plot of what Beretta would have been and her interactions with like producers and actors and different people.
A memoir.
Yeah, it's like part, like half, I guess. I wouldn't even say memoir because it's more like an essay letter kind of collection, diary entry collection, and the plot of the book. And it's just so fantastic and so good. And I loved it so much. And I just gushed about it for too long. So I don't know if I feel like talking about it more. But my runner-up is Brickmakers by Selva Almada, translated by Annie McDermott, which is, I guess people say that it's like a Romeo and Juliet kind of thing. It's two brickmakers that have a feud and their two sons fall in love. And it opens with one of the sons and the brother of the other son killing each other. And then it kind of goes back in time and shows how they got to that point. And it is also, I like books that are not written in like a normal fashion, you know.
Oh, I know your jam. Yeah. You're
So these are both such good reads.
Oh, good. Well, I'll have a couple in the future questions that will spark your interest in that relationship. But yeah, both, especially that first one. That sounds super
Yeah, it's so good. And yeah, it's like a mixed media book, I guess, because it has I don't know. Oh God, this is me going, but it has like portions of like the actual script in it, and then it's like random shit. There's like
you sure you just don't like it because you can read these quickly? I know how you get, Stephanie.
No.
There's pictures, people. She's gonna pick it up.
There's just a few pictures. There's words in here, Adam. Look at all those words.
And when they're experimental, you don't have to pretend like you know what happened because you don't really know what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Happens in this book. It's phenomenal. It's so good. I'm actually kind of pleased that it wasn't made into a movie because you get a lot of like the psychological, like the inner workings of the narrator as opposed to just seeing.
Has she made other films or?
No, I don't think she's made any films. She's an artist. So that was actually like a tie-in for it was like an exhibition, or what is it called when you do like an art installation? Installation. And so that book was like an accompanying piece to the installation. So the publisher is, I guess, like, if you go to their website, it's Corner House. It's a UK publisher, and it's a lot of like art related books. So
nice.
Yeah.
Good choices.
Lots of pictures. So.
Okay, you take the first one on this next one. The best sequel.
I mean, I don't really read many sequels, so the only thing that I have is I read volumes 7, 8, and 9 of Chew, and I do enjoy it, but there's not really much to say about it. It's a guy. He's a chibopath. When he eats you, he finds out. Yeah.
Oh.
He knows if he eats from a flesh of something, then he knows like where it came from. So like what the pesticides were. But he works for some kind of organization. I think it's the DEA. Maybe that can't be right. The FDA. He works for the FDA, but his job is, he doesn't work for the FDA. Adam, just ignore me. He goes to murder scenes and there's a dead body, and then he'll like chew a bit to find out, how the person got killed. But it's much more intense than that, and it's getting really juicy. And I only have 3 volumes left, and I'm excited to finish it.
I got into shrooms a little bit this past year.
What?
Shrooms. Shrooms, magic mushrooms.
Like the drug?
Well, it's not a drug. It's criminalized in Washington State, Stephanie.
So
my third eye.
Are you saying that would be fun to read these while you were on?
I don't know. You said it's about eating something and becoming something, and
Yeah, there's a wild scene where it's just like a bunch of different, because everyone has powers. So someone will eat a piece of candy and then will get the qualities of the candy. So if he eats like rock candy or like Laffy Taffy, then he becomes like stretchy or hard. It's very weird. It's not something you would like, probably.
I like that stuff.
Okay. What's the
Hell
tone?
phrase.
The tone of chew? It's like a noir. It's a,
Oh, I do like a
a
noir.
noiry detective-y thing. There's an ultimate baddie, and our main character Tony Chu is trying to defeat our main baddie, and I assume he will, but our main baddie is very, very bad. So
Well, the noir leads nicely into mine then, because this again, another author that I've talked a lot about and have mentioned on these ones before, and not technically a sequel, but it is part of a series, which is my dear Raymond Chandler, Lady in the Lake, which is a fourth of the Philip Marlowe series, and again. Any of his books can be picked up in any order. They're definitely not a series in that sense. But um, yeah, it's just a fantastic book. Philip Marlowe, private detective, hired by some rich businessman in L.A. to search for his missing wife. Marlowe heads up to a rural area outside of Los Angeles and finds what may or may not be the wife in a lake. And the mystery goes from there. And again, super comforting. And I think this would be a great, if you've never read Marlowe, people usually jump to the big sleep. I actually think like something like The Lady in the Lake would be a much better thing to kind of ease you into that noir world, and the way that Chandler talked about Los Angeles and the cool dialogue and just the mise en place of his world. This would be a good place to start. So
is that I feel like you posted on Instagram recently a picture of a bunch of books. Were those ones?
Yeah, beautiful.
All those covers are really, gorgeous, especially together. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Yeah, I go down to the coffee shop. I prop this up. Are you kidding me? It's a vibe. Befuddled Panda, please do check him out. He's great and great. It's always like a tradition in the summer. This is the last book I finished, and I always read like a Chandler book in the summer. It's great. It's great. Comforting noir, yeah, totally. That old school. I love just that vibe. That's me. That's me. That's me.
Okay, so number 3, new release you haven't read yet but want to.
I do. I have one. I'm curious if you'll have one this year. You usually don't. But I have, you probably know that. You can pronounce that better than me. Paradise by Fernanda Melchor.
Sure. Is that
I don't know what that is. Is it a bell pepper, apple, something?
It looks kind of like
but you own a book by this author. This is the woman who wrote Hurricane Season, Fernanda.
Oh, it looks like Pamela on the front there. I can't quite. Okay, I got it. Yeah.
And I'm someone like Stephanie. I don't read a ton of these hyped authors or these new releases. And Hurricane Season was one of those like big books or semi big releases from the last few years, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. It was so good. Just this dense, sticky, dirty book that was just so good. And this book, I forget when it was originally published, but it was just translated into English and released this year.
That cover is gorgeous.
And Grace, I would love to read this together. It's nice and short. And Grace, did you read Hurricane Season, right? No. And Grace, no, this was not an ND classic, and it should have been. Like they need to hire me. Stephanie, I know you're a member of a million of these book clubs where you get books delivered.
No,
I'm only a member of one, which is ND Classics.
What's ND Classics?
New Directions.
Oh, they have. Okay, so is it just like they publish?
They send you one that's supposed to be a new classic, but it should be called like the pamphlet of the month, because every book they send are these little like 92-page novellas every month. And it's just like, you're picking just what's the shortest book you guys are publishing and shipping it out. But I still like it because they always like design nice. And again, it's a vibe.
Directions has
beautiful
books. I haven't read Hurricane Season yet, but I will.
I think you would love it. You'd get along with it. So, and maybe even if you don't, because even though Hurricane Season is not huge, it's an incredibly dense book. Maybe when you see this, you might want to pick it up because it's Sure.
If it's hardcover, oh, stop it! I read books.
No, I'm just saying as an entry point, Stephanie. I'm joking. I'm not saying you only read picture books and mangas to bump up your Goodreads score, even though sometimes you do.
Just in December.
Uh-huh.
I only do that in December.
Oh, the last mad panic. Oh.
Well, mine is one that I was sent from my this is, I think, the only book subscription that I have. I would like more, obviously, but you know, the budget. So this is the only, like, I have 3 books on my shelves, and I'm not trying to do research to see what.
How are you? Oh, Jenny's slogging from one brewery to the next.
No, she sent me a message saying that she couldn't watch live, but yes. Hi, Jenny.
Jenny, where's that baby? You taking that baby to the breweries? Sling over the shoulders.
To take your babies when you go drinking, right? Because you can't take them into a bar, but you can take them to a brewery.
Really?
I don't know. As long as there's like outdoors eating, whatever. Anyways, this is from my Literati.
Okay.
You should. This is a really, really good book club. It's the Literati Insisto.
That book looks a little.
Okay, they send all kinds of things though. It's always from a small publisher.
Okay, that's nice.
So it's always from a small publisher. This is Catapult Press, but it's an essay collection about the climate and how it is changing, and it is bad. So obviously, I guess baby is with the grandparents. So she's
drunk, Jen.
But yeah, I'm really excited. It has Lydia Yuknovich in it, who is a local author to this area. I read her memoir that has the chronology of water, and I think she had a book that was kind of popular on BookTube after that, like with a pink cover maybe, but I don't quite remember. But she's always at Powell's, like when they do she'll be like a moderator or something, and she'll do stuff. Obviously not in the last couple of years because of COVID, but she does have a new book. Oh, great. Yeah, I'm really into her energy, even though I've only read her memoir. But yeah, I don't know. This definitely isn't like exactly, I wouldn't say this is probably the book that I'm looking forward to the most on my shelves, but of the new releases that I have, that's the most
cool for a thing to to be sending out small indie publishers and to push you in directions you might not go. That's
it's
cool.
The Literati bookstore in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So
from Michigan?
Yeah.
I used to spend my summers in Kalamazoo. I wasn't a fan.
Okay, well, Ann Arbor is, different probably than Kalamazoo, but it's really, and I like it too because it's like, as opposed to one publisher, they're, it's clearly booksellers that are choosing the books, and they write a little like note about why they picked the book and stuff. So
oh, that's nice.
It's cute. Okay. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year.
Do you have one?
I actually do have one. So it's Visible from Two Lines Press. So I have 4 other books to kind of, it's from this series. It's
wow. I think maybe you showed one of these last year.
Probably. This is the only one that I've read. I have these other ones, Queer, which is queer Brazilian works. Oh, wow. Home, which is, I think, Arabic poems, but they have like both the Arabic, where's the camera? The Arabic and the English. And so there's a new one that's coming out that has pictures in it. So it's called Visible.
December read.
I think I have up somewhere. Oh, just so I can read you the blurb of it. But it says that it showcases 6 genre-defying works from around the world that raise questions about the relationship between how we see, how we read, and how we write in the age of calligram.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what a calligram is, but when I Googled it, it's like the pictures that are made out of words. You know what I'm saying? Like
I didn't know it had a name for it, but okay.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm really excited, mostly because, again, I trust this publisher really well, and I trust this.
I remember we talked last year. I don't know how to feel about these little square books, but those are pretty. What is this? Like,
whatever. You go.
Well, it's of course, you guys know my answer. It's the Cormac McCarthy, Hold My Hand, you guys, after 16 years.
Really?
It's been 16 years since The Road was published. And
What was his last book?
that was his last book.
I just don't know enough about Cormac McCarthy.
Stephanie, it's just, you better believe when I heard that news, I dropped the phone. I dropped the phone. And it's so, we've talked about before, there's so few living authors that, thank you, Jenny. I'm glad you agree. That that we get excited, right? That, oh my God, finally I get to read, because I don't follow a lot of these hyped authors. So to hear that and to have something to look forward to, and it's not one novel, but he's publishing two, Stephanie. One it's a duology. One's dropping in October called The Passengers, and then the following month in November is what's the other one called? Stella Maris. So it's a duology, and yeah, I'm so excited. I do have an advanced digital copy of it, but I'm like, should I just wait? I need the the pages in my hand. When it's a book that big, I think I gotta wait for it. So and yeah, again, the fall vibe and all that. But yeah, that's easily, I've been waiting for him to publish this book for years and years, and it's been talked about, and the title's been out for a long time. So he's still alive, and it's going to be published. So,
oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm happy for everyone, but I'm very happy for you. Where's the next question? Your biggest disappointment?
I haven't. I have such good taste. I don't run into a lot of disappointments. But but I'm gonna say it's a book by Iris Murdoch, who I'm a big fan of. Nuns and Soldiers. Big chonking thing. I'm a big Iris Murdoch fan. I think you would really like Iris Murdoch, Stephanie. She's very witty. She has a lot of humor, but also very unlikable characters. A lot of satire within her books. Kind of, she takes a skewer to the English upper class in a very kind of morbid way. And yeah, I think you would like her. But this one, it was just huge. And have you ever read a book by an author you like, and you're just like, I gotta finish it because I like this author, and even when she writes poorly, it's still readable. But it's just like, this was the first one. I'm like, and the thing that kept me going is that I know Iris Murdoch, she had Alzheimer's disease, and I was almost wondering, I was like, is this like early onset Alzheimer's? Because we're kind of spinning the wheels here, Iris, and we're going over stuff over and over and over. And I don't think
she had an editor, I'm sure. So if
well, by this time she was big, and when they get big, it's like that J.K. Rowling. There's no control. You can't control them.
Oh my gosh! Also, hi Bailey. Sorry.
Hi Bailey. Long time no see.
So mine is unfortunately The Black Church by Henry Louis.
Oh, I saw your video talking about this. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel, and this is not my least favorite book of the year. It's just my biggest disappointment because I really just really wanted to get something out of this. And like I mentioned when I was talking about it previously, it's just, I think the scope is too broad to make such a small book about it. And yeah, so I just feel like there wasn't enough meat. I didn't really get very much from it. And yeah, so it was disappointing.
Yeah, but I remember you said you would read something else from that.
Oh, 100%. I would. Yeah, he's got so many books. Look at all those books.
Oh, that's too much.
Yeah, I should.
If he has that many books, they might all just be bullet point books like this one, Stephanie.
Maybe, but this one sounds interesting. Black in Latin America. Okay. I feel like that I would be really, really interested in. But yeah, so we'll see. I'll definitely try something else by him, and hopefully I will enjoy it more. And I guess that's what you do, right? You give authors a second chance, especially ones that you're excited to read. And
yeah, not always, but yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm not a one and done sort of guy. You want another little taste.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I feel like I look like I need glasses even though I'm wearing contact lenses. The problem is that I didn't put spaces in between the questions. so I have to kind of like run down again. Um, the biggest surprise.
I think it's your turn.
Okay. Mine is The Art of Losing by Alice Zeniter. And this is translated by Frank Wynn. I feel like just looking at this does not seem like I'm a cover buyer.
Mm-hmm.
Really only,
That
and I
seems like a book of the month sort of book, Stephanie.
what?
That seems like a book of the month sort of
I
book.
agree. It does look like a book of the month, which is not the kind of book that I'm interested in. Those book of the month commercials, Adam, whenever I see them on YouTube, I want to hurt something.
Yeah.
I agree. This cover is not screaming amazing to me, but the book is phenomenal. It is so good. It's like a multi-generational tale of a family that is has immigrated to France from Algeria. And so it starts with the grandfather, and then it goes like into the dad, and then it goes into our main character, which I guess is kind of weird to say since it follows so many different people. But it was, I don't even know what to say right now because it's so good, so powerful. I almost just thinking about it makes me want to reread it. It shows you so many different perspectives of the Algerian War too, and like, it's just so good. You should read it, Adam.
I love a good like multi-generational book that you can think into. So
So good.
On my radar. And Grace, I did read the new Dennis Cooper that came out last year, and it was fantastic. It was.
Didn't you just read it right like a day ago?
No, I'm reading another one, an older. Yeah.
Oh.
I read a new one last year, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And hi, Aaron Dillman.
Hi, Aaron. It's not the tail end. We're like halfway through questions.
My answer for the biggest surprise is a French classic, which is Jealousy. This is by, and I always his name, Alain Robbe-Gurlet, who.
Ooh, I want that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even know what it's about.
I don't care. I told you I'm a cover. I can tell from a cover if I like it or not.
I say it's a surprise simply because I had read, speaking of giving authors another chance, I had read a couple other works by him that I didn't love. So it was a surprise because, I just thought he wasn't maybe an author for me. He's also a filmmaker. He wrote, not directed, the very famous Last Year in Marienbad, which is a fantastic film, very bizarre, and he made some other films himself, and he ushered in this movement called the Nouveau Roman, which was this idea of authors, that everything has been done in literature and we need to tear it apart, and kind of in the spirit of postmodernism. But this was the first book of his that I felt really utilized that well. It's about it takes place on a banana plantation farm, and it is, even though it's never directly said, it's narrated by what is likely the husband that's being a voyeur watching the interactions between his wife and a nearby neighbor. And at the beginning of the book, let's see if I can find it here. Oh shit. Oh yeah. So there's like a little map. And a lot of the book is about this voyeuristic quality where the husband's looking at them through different angles, and he's looking through the blinds from this corner of the house, and you look into the sitting room, or you look into the bedroom, you're looking into the kitchen, and he's watching his wife and this man conversate, and it's very experimental, very bizarre, and I just thought it worked really, really well, and much more so than some of his other books I've read. So.
Why was it a surprise? Just because you didn't enjoy his other books very much?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this one I loved. And, he did a lot of the same things that he did in the other books, but in this one it just kind of clicked, and it all came together. So.
Will you text me a picture of that? I can't really read it.
Well, when you're back up here or I'm down there, I'll remember, and I'll force you to. Very easy with Stephanie, you guys. She has no ability to say no, so you just put things in her hand, and she just
buys it. Yes.
Stephanie squealing about the Algerian War.
I was feeling about how good the book about the Algerian War was. I was very emotional while I was reading it. I had alcohol, Grace. Okay.
Blame it on Jake.
I
Put in
blame
that cup.
it on Jake. Your new favorite author?
Yeah, me.
Yeah.
This is another one, man. This is such a pure vibe. It's an author named Anne Quinn. The book is called Three. Anne Quinn was an experimental British writer. She committed suicide. She had 4 books published. She killed herself at 37, and just phenomenal. Experimental writer. This was a book. It's about. I love books that kind of on face value are about one thing, but they're really about another. Like this on the forefront is about a young woman who disappears, and she rents a room from this couple, and she may have committed suicide and disappeared into the ocean. But in reality, the book's kind of this study of this domesticated couple that she lived with, and the way that Anne Quinn kind of explores the horrors of domestic married life between heterosexuals, Stephanie, was phenomenal, just so good. And yeah, just one of those books you're like, oh, and she only has 3 other books, but I can't wait to read them. And easily, yeah, my favorite new author. But yeah, this is another one you would love.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can tell that I also, yes, that. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Oh my God. Hi, Alex. How are you? Let's see. Oh,
my new favorite author. I don't even know actually. Why did I even pick this? I don't know. I really liked this book. So this is very, very difficult.
my name is Lucy Barton. Is that what you...
No, it's the Winter and Soak Show by Lisa Pin. And I really, really, really liked this book. Okay. It's translated by...
Why should you feel guilty about that? I'm confused.
No, because I don't know if I could say that this is... I feel like my new favorite author is, Sophia Almeria, but she's only written the 1 book. So it's kind of... I don't know. I feel like that's such a difficult question just in general. I also feel like I haven't really read very much this year, and I feel like I haven't retained a lot of what I've read this year. Like I feel like I've been kind of just in a little bit of a fog, but anyways, this book is fantastic. It takes place in Korea, and the narrator is half French, half Korean, and a Frenchman comes, she like runs an inn or something. I also feel really stupid talking about books that I've talked about on my channel already. Is this what it feels like to do tags?
You're with me.
What so embarrassing. I don't know. All of a sudden I just got like horribly embarrassed. So
sorry to break it to you, but I've seen you talk about the same books in multiple videos before.
Usually by myself, Adam, not with someone else. Anyways, so
crazy town, people. Crazy town.
What?
Crazy town.
Yes. So I feel like I really enjoy this book because of the vibe of the narrator. I really like, my favorite types of narrators are narcissistic older white men that don't understand what's going on, and younger women that are really like disassociated from their environment and like don't get on with the people around them so much and have to kind of pretend like they do. So sorry, I'm laughing because of Grace.
The Bujo. Break out the Bujo?
Oh, my Bujo at the end of this if you want. But yeah, so this again, I like a lot of the books that I have really, really enjoyed this year. I would read anything that this author puts out. So cool. I wouldn't say, I mean, it's a favorite new author, not like the favorite new author, right?
You will not be quizzed or audited about these choices at a later date, Stephanie. Do not have any stress about your choices.
Okay. I
haven't read any of the books I've held up today. Literally just pulled them off the shelf. Okay.
Okay. So do you have an answer for 8 and 9, newest fictional crush and newest favorite character?
Not for the crush. Do you?
Mine is just the narrator of Virgin with a Memory. I'm honestly I'm just kind of obsessed with that book right now. So I don't remember what her name is, but she gets raped and then she murders people and disassembles their body and makes their bodies disappear. And I am obsessed with her. Does that make it sound like there's something wrong with me?
I think that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. She's both, both of those.
So for character, no crush. Um, Character, I do have one. This is another great book, a little book I read. This was one, Grace, that was a New Direction Classics that I got in the mail, and this was, you know, 1 out of 12 that was fantastic. His name was Death by Mexican author Rafael Bernal. This was published, I think, in the late 40s. And the character, the narrator of this book, I don't think he's ever given a name, though he's referred to as Wise Owl through a lot of the book. But it's about this alcoholic man who kind of is outcasted from society, and he buries himself in the deep Mexican jungle. And there's a local tribe that starts viewing him as a prophet. And after having his demons exorcised out of him, he begins talking to mosquitoes. He starts studying their language. He keeps like a dictionary. He creates like a flute that allows him to communicate with the mosquitoes. And he's convinced that if he can just organize, now that he can speak to mosquitoes, if he can just organize them, he could take over the world. Because the power of the only thing keeping the mosquitoes from taking over the world is the fact that they're not organized and connected to one another. So it's a wild, wild book, and he was so good. And it's written like it's supposed to be a memoir from his perspective, and it was just, yeah, it was, yes, yeah. Maybe this is connected to my mushroom lifestyle. Would you ever do mushrooms with me, Stephanie?
Absolutely not.
Why?
I'll drink while you do mushrooms.
Oh, you would not like that at all. I don't think either.
I'm not.
Mushrooms is very safe. It's good for depression. You know, all about microdosing these days, Stephanie. You're in the medical field.
I understand you do you, but I'm gonna do me, which does not involve mushrooms.
It's decriminalized.
I don't.
It's not a drug, Stephanie. It's natural. It comes from the earth. How are you gonna be drinking whatever Jake puts in a cup?
Have you ever seen
handle something that I give you that's from the earth?
Have you ever seen the movie Shrooms, Adam?
No.
Okay, watch it and then get back to me.
I thought that was a positive portrayal of shrooms.
No. Shrooms is not a positive portrayal of shrooms. It's bad. People die.
Well, if they're irresponsible, you just have to be around the right people like me. Grace, would you do it with me? I know someone that grows them. It's not sketchy at all, you guys. I can taste the colors, and I'm colorblind, and that's saying a lot.
Oh my God. Oh no.
I'm on another level now.
How do you put the comment, like, can you make it so that people, oh, here we go. Yeah. I agree.
Alex, I think you would do it with me. It bonds you.
I'm just so not interested, but I'm really happy for the journey that you're on.
Well, the best thing, this is the last thing I'll say about shrooms, is that you take it, you have a trip, and then it's done. It's the only thing. It's not like alcohol or a drug. There's no real, you have your trip, you go up, and then you're back down, and you're back on Earth. Like there's no drug. You're not like woozy the next day. It's like, it really is a miracle. Even like weed, I can't do because the side effects are too much for me. I eat, I'm dehydrated.
I'm a really boring person, Adam.
What?
And I'm just not interested.
Line it up, Grace, for our October meetup, West Coast meetup. I'll make you tea. You can't come into my home if you don't have a drink of the tea.
Oh my gosh. A book that made you cry.
Please, you cry at every book. So what did you choose?
Good question, because I do cry frequently. I picked Crying in H Mart.
Oh, that's fitting. Okay.
It is by Michelle Zauner. Oh boy, I cried so much. I feel like everyone has read this at this point, but it's a memoir. Michelle Zauner is from Japanese Breakfast. Is that the name of her band?
Oh, she's in that band?
I think that's what it's called, right? Japanese
You know
breakfast.
that?
Yes, yeah. She's the lead person. She's
Yeah,
the
she
creator of
makes
breakfast.
Japanese breakfast. I had no idea. How did I not know that?
I don't know. You should read this if you haven't read it yet. It's really beautiful. I feel like I she is Japanese breakfast. Oh, okay. She doesn't have anyone else in the band. I thought that it was
It's before
multiple.
Mitski, Alex. Probably.
Sh Erin cried because her coworker convinced her to reread Twilight. Yeah, you should not have been convinced of that, Erin. That's really disappointing.
Aaron's over there writing jokes. Don't invest in that.
Don't do that. This was just so emotional and so powerful. My mom is my favorite person on the absolute planet. And so listening or reading a book about Michelle and her experience with her mom dying from cancer, it just like I'm not gonna cry right now.
Do you have an H Mart in Portland?
What was that?
You have an H Mart in Portland?
I do have an HMR in Portland, but it's kind of the parking is really difficult, so I don't go to it frequently. There's not like a parking garage, but it is a phenomenal, phenomenal store. Why are they so good?
So good. And that's like the main place I go now because I live in an area downtown where there's not a lot of grocery stores, and it's the closest one to me. So I get,
So lucky. Yeah, I would kill to have one walking distance. And the food descriptions, the relationship with her mom, everything in this book was just absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, it resonated a lot. I felt a lot of emotions. My mom is not dying of cancer, but just having like a very unique mother-daughter bond. I feel like yeah, I loved it.
Mm.
And I cried a lot while I was reading it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I actually have an answer this year, and it's so crazy because every year, and this is true, I don't cry. I'll cry at a film, but not at books. And I had even made, we talked a few days ago about doing this video or a week ago, and I even had my list, and I had a different book selected for this because I picked my saddest book because I hadn't cried, and then out of nowhere, the night before last, I was reading this before bed, and I had a tear. I had a single tear that came down. Okay,
Just one?
just one, but
Don't
that's a Stephanie. I don't cry. And it was from the collection American Splendor by Harvey Pekar. I always forget how to say his name. Pekar. Which I could talk an hour on why this is a fabulous, fabulous collection, which I think you actually have him on your shelf, right, Stephanie?
I don't
I think
recognize that name.
you have this, right? This is like a classic of well, not graphic novel, but of comics. He did comic strips, and they are very much like slices of life, and they're just phenomenal. But there was one, I was reading this before I went to bed, and it's called Inky Dies, and it's about his cat. And it's just like all his stories. There's not like a big punchline, or they're not these huge stories. They're just these slices of life, and it's simply about them taking their cat in for a checkup and them finding something wrong and saying your cat has 2 weeks to live, and you'll know that it's ready to be put down when it starts making a noise that sounds like it's drowning. See, you're gonna cry now.
I didn't want to get cats because they're gonna die. I thought that the sadness of that would be too much, but
too much. So granted, a couple weeks pass and he starts making the noise. See that? And then they have to put him down, and that's the end of the story.
What is the noise? Because Shirley does a noise that sounds like that.
Well, it says, I don't know. They told him in 2 weeks your cat's gonna sound like it's drowning, and then to put
no, that's not what it sounds like. Hers is more like choking.
But yeah, I teared up. I don't fuck around with cat stuff, you guys. And
I was gonna say, do you think that you would have teared up if you didn't have cats?
No, yeah, it's because I have cats, and I think I any animal suffering is very difficult for me to deal with, but I think particularly cats, because they're very independent creatures and they carry themselves with a lot of pride. I don't know if yours do, but but They do. So to see a cat, you know, lose that, it's very like degrading in a very sad way. So I get very emotional about that, you know. And I cried, you guys. I cried
Mm.
this year. My first time for the mid-year book tag for a book that made me cry. And what's the odds that I randomly read that 2 nights before we did this?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that's not a bad omen. Blue. He's okay.
Gosh. Okay, so question 11, a book that made you happy.
Me?
Mhm.
I read so much depressing books, and this is a depressing book that I chose, In the Twilight by Chekhov. I'm a massive Chekhov fan. I have the same birthday as Chekhov, so every year it's a tradition that around my birthday in January, I read a Chekhov short story collection, and it always makes me happy because there is because Chekhov is so famous. There is a never-ending amount of collections that have been published of his stories, and he had dozens and dozens, hundreds of short stories. He wrote a lot. Many of his early he did for money by the word, and because of that, each time you pick up a collection, it's always a joy because it's for me now. It's a mixture of stories that I have read and loved, stories that I've read and maybe didn't love, or stories that I've never read before. So it's always like this bag, and there's always introductions. And yeah, In the Twilight was fantastic. Features one of his best short stories. It's called Enemies, and it's a story about a physician who loses his young son, and right after his son dies, he gets a knock at his door in the middle of the night, and it's a local townsman who said, "My wife is dying," and it's this kind of pull of, do I stay with my wife and mourn the body of my son who's not even cold yet, or do I go help this woman who's dying in the village? And he, spoiler alert, he does go help the woman, only to learn that she was faking it to get attention from her husband.
Oof.
God, so good, so good. Check
Rude.
out Fantastics, you guys. It just
I have like a short story.
yeah,
His
yes.
book is not in here, so
Enemies is not in there. It should be.
no.
Oh.
Right.
Well, either way, any of his stuff.
Translated by?
It's a newer translation, Hugh Applin.
Okay. Maybe I'll have to, because this is the Pavir and Volonsky, which I feel like everyone talks trash on their translations of things. So,
I mean, they can't keep getting hired if they're that bad, Stephanie.
well, some people keep putting out books, even though they're not that great of authors. Just because you do something a lot doesn't mean you're good at it. Anyways. So I also had a little bit of trouble with this because all of my books involve war, death, something terrible. What?
The Algerian War, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Grace likes P and me. Maybe I don't know. I don't know enough about Russian translations. I feel like I haven't been reading a lot of Russian books recently, so I'll focus on that later. So
Is that guy Michael still alive? That guy that always would bitch?
Yeah.
He's still alive? Good. I don't know.
He's on Instagram and Twitter. And
he was always bitching about these translators.
Yeah, I think he's the one that doesn't like them, and so that's like incepted.
What does he know? He's Australian. They don't know what's going on over there.
Adam, be nice.
You and Australian, Stephanie.
What? You can't stand Australians?
Stand them. Oh, it's. Have you ever looked into the eye of an Australian? It's like looking into the eyes of a chicken. There's nothing there.
I can't. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, the thing that made me the happiest is a swim in the pond.
Wait, this is the happiest? Oh, yeah, we didn't do this. Yes. I want to read this. Yes.
So good, and it made me so happy.
Oh my God, that plays so well in with mine because he talks.
Chekhov is definitely in here. I forget which one.
Oh, that's so funny.
I get it very quickly, but does it say?
No, Grace, I didn't do Aussie April.
But yes, I love this. George Saunders is one of my favorite authors. I love him so much. He's so brilliant. Yes, it was so fun. I don't know. I got kind of nervous because the first one he really does break it down like page by page. So it's a page of the story and then he goes into the details of what has had or what has happened in the page. But then the other ones, it's just the short story and then his kind of like essay about it. But it is really funny though, because even in the first one, when he's doing it page by page, towards like halfway, he's like, yes, it's me interjecting again. And, I'll start doing 2 pages because I know you're probably getting sick of this.
Yeah.
I'm frozen.
Yep. You're
Okay. So yeah, it was really nice because obviously I will never be able to take a class by Saunders. So it felt like, I was having a conversation with him or he was having a conversation with me. And I felt really I'm very, very grateful and happy that he decided to put this book out. So it is the only happy thing that I read this year. So far.
I've been wanting that. And I've actually been waiting for it to come out on paperback. So now that it is, I see it. I will pick it up next time in the bookstore for sure. And he has a new short story collection coming out, which I did not know.
Really?
Did you read Lincoln in the Bardo?
I did read Lincoln in the Bardo, and it was fine. I think I enjoy his short stories. I haven't read enough of him. I have in Persuasion Nation, I think, on my shelves to read still. But basically, the Semplica Girl Diaries. Like after I read that, I was just like, I bow to George Saunders. That is the most amazing short story I've ever read. It's maybe just the most amazing thing I've ever read. I loved it so much. So it's so good. He is good at getting in there.
Yeah.
Like okay, so favorite book to film adaptation you saw this year?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have Passing by Noah Larson.
I never saw it. Haven't read or seen the film.
I coincidentally read this book and then I'm part of this movie group and we watched the movie like a month after I read it, which was such a weird coincidence. I feel like the vibes of the movie and the book are totally kind of different. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed both. It's, the story of a light-skinned Black woman who is passing for white and she's married to a racist piece of crap. And actually, I guess that's not who the story follows. The story follows another light-skinned Black woman, but she's not passing. So she's married to, a Black man and has, a Black family. And she gets reintroduced to this woman that she knew from her past who is passing as a white woman. And it oh, look, there's Michael right there.
Michael, I'm kid about Australia. I love it. I fucking love it.
It was really very difficult to read. It is uncomfortable, but it's fantastic. And the book is really, really good too. It's a very, very quiet film. It has Tessa Thompson, who is a babe, as the lead. So that is always great when she's in a movie. But it's a very, very quiet, and they do a really good job with like shadows and colors, depending on kind of like what the situation is, to play on like the whole race situation. So it was really well done. So yes, that is mine. What is yours?
Mine is the classic Grapes of Wrath, which usually I don't read and watch these films in the same year, but this was the first book I finished this year, Grapes of Wrath, and the glorious film by John Ford, which is just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And really, like, to me, they complement each other so well because Steinbeck is kind of the ultimate kitchen table author. Like, he's very accessible to a large audience of people, which is why I think he's so widely read, whether it's like middle schoolers or like moms. Moms love Steinbeck. Yes. Oh, they love it. They love it. East of Eden. Are you kidding me?
I've not read.
And John Ford's adaptation is just so good because I think a lesser director would have taken the Joad family, which through time became sort of the poster family of poverty porn and this kind of image of the oaky, the Southern coming from the South in their pickup truck, and white trash coming to the big city to try to find their way, has become like this caricature through time. But that's not what The Grapes of Wrath was about. Steinbeck approached these sort of characters with a lot of dignity, and John Ford's adaptation in turn, treated it as the same. And it's just a really beautiful film. And like Steinbeck is the ultimate kind of kitchen table sink down into a big story kind of writer, John Ford to me is that ultimate like Sunday afternoon lazy. You put on a John Ford film in the background, whether it's one of his westerns or something like The Grapes of Wrath, and it's just like you can just like get lost in it. And it was just so good. It was so good. Have you read Grapes of Wrath?
Absolutely not. I read Of Mice and Men, the smallest one.
Who would have done?
I don't think I've watched anything by Ford either. What other? Well, I guess we can talk about that later. But now,
I mean, I think I had Ford as one of my answers one of the other years, but he was most well known for his westerns, which I know is not necessarily maybe your thing. He did a lot of other, fantastic movies. And the guy who did, I forget the name, but the guy who did the cinematography for the Grapes of Wrath film a couple years later did Citizen Kane. Like, so it's, you can imagine, it's gorgeous black and white, this noirish style, and it's just, sumptuous. Yes. Grapes of Wrath, Aaron, wrecked you in the best way. Yeah, the only thing, it was a very faithful adaptation, but he did not, John Ford did not include the very final scene of Grapes of Wrath, and anybody who's read that book will remember that final, well, which one you got there?
East of Eden, so I was just which one it was. It's not the right one though, so I guess
so cover it back up, Stephanie. Jesus.
Favorite review you've written this year?
None, Stephanie. This is it right here.
Yeah, same. I don't really. So let's just skip that. Yeah, most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received.
Should I go?
Yeah.
This is arguably not only from this year, but maybe the most beautiful book I own. Look at this thing. This is The Book of Dreams by Federico Fellini. Look at that. Is that not gorgeous? Oh. Have you seen, first of all, are you a Fellini fan? Have you seen any of his films?
I have not, but listen, okay? In the idea of who I am as a person, yes, but in watching Fear Street trilogy, and I don't know what you want me to do about it.
Fellini is arguably, the greatest filmateur of all time, my favorite director, and this is his journals, his book of dreams. And he would keep this, and he would keep a log of the dreams. And if you've ever seen a Fellini film, they are very dreamlike in the way they're laid out. They're sequences that kind of roll into one another, and they have this kind of circus-like road that you kind of take that's very similar to like a dream. So Fellini would keep this journal, and he would, he'd wake up and do these crude sketches, and let's see if we can find, he would draw stuff from his dreams that he would see and write. And it's just this gorgeous book. Fellini, if you've ever seen a Fellini, he has a thing for like women with big tits. So there's a lot of like, Italian women with big tits. And it's great. So you have your full page, scan of it. And then in the back, they have it translated and transcribed. So you can, go back and do that. But fabulous.
Beautiful.
Michael, more of his films. I mean, any of his La Dolce Vita, 8.5, La Strada, Juliet and the Spirits, Roma. I mean, you could pick any of them. I mean, he's just, again, his movies, the majority of them are quite long, but they're just like, Stephanie, you got to get on it. You got to get on it.
Oh, I will. We're doing Agnes Varda right now. Okay, maybe we'll do Fellini afterwards.
Yeah. is arguably his best film. So that's a good one to have watched, Michael.
Mine is really not fair. I wish I had gone first because yours is really, really impressive. Mine is just, I just think this is a pretty cover. So
I've seen that. That is beautiful. Yeah.
that's all.
I mean, it's not the Book of Dreams.
It's not. I really should have known that you would have had something super to have me go first.
Well, I have, it is something I'm very, buying expensive, beautiful books. Over the past few years, I've just really gotten good about only surrounding myself with things that I need. So that opens up more areas to where, I really want things on my shelf that are things of beauty, that are physical objects that I need to have. So I've been more, open to that and getting rid of a lot of the stuff that I just kind of held on for, I don't know, mental unstable reasons. Yeah. Do you think you hold on to books for mental unstable reasons, Stephanie?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Does your book collection, how does that reflect on your mental health, if at all?
I guess I still don't understand. Again, I feel like we all have an idealized version of ourselves, and I am not that person yet, but I feel confident that in the future I will be.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like there's some crap on these shelves. I don't know how it got there, and I don't want it there, but it's there, so I have to at least dip my toes into it. I'm making a stronger effort to investigate these things so that I can get rid of them quicker instead of looking at them and thinking, why are you there? I definitely think I'm pickier about my red shelves because my red shelves I feel like represent me more as a reader, obviously because I've read them already and because I can, only keep the ones that I feel are best. But I do, obviously everyone knows I have a problem.
You have a problem. There's no such thing. It's like you said, it's an individual. It's like there's no right or wrong answer.
I have too many books.
You have too many. Yeah. I saw a film recently called Vortex by one of my favorite filmmakers called Gaspar Noé, or Noah. I never know how to pronounce his last name. But it was about the last couple weeks of an elderly couple before they die. And they live in this house that's by no means like a trashed house, but they have it's so many books in it. And this guy is a writer and he writes about films and he collects all these books. And the final shot of the film is snapshots of those books being boxed up and everything in the house getting ready as these people are dead and they have to pack up. And I'm, I don't know if I loved the film, but I left that thinking, what the fuck are all these books doing here? And if I fucking die, Tay doesn't want these fuckers. Like,
Really?
No.
Not even like as a memory of you?
Oh, God, no. God, no. And I wouldn't want him to. Are you kidding me? Hold on to this 2,000 books for the memory of me? No. Maybe my Fellini book, but so I'm like, yeah, I don't need this stuff.
Yeah, I will say I think it was more at the beginning of 2021 than at the beginning of this year. Sorry, I'm reading Grace's comment.
Yeah.
I thought about this more at the beginning of last year than this year, but I was trying really hard to write in my books. So to basically be like, this is the date that I'm starting it. And like, if anything is happening in my life, write in the margin. So I know a lot of times when people annotate books, they're specifically annotating the content of the book, but I was thinking that it'd be more interesting to like, not only interact with the book, but to, sorry, let me put that one on there too. That's very funny. Yes. But to also, talk about why I'm reading the book or, where I picked the book up or what's going on in my life in general, just to have the book be more than just text, because then, why wouldn't I just I can't really read on ebook because my brain doesn't, the screens have ruined my ability to read properly on an ebook. I have to read physically. But I think that makes it a little bit more interesting. And that's my favorite part of, because if both of us were to die, Jake would definitely keep all of my books probably. But,
all of them,
he would probably
issues of Chew, but I don't know.
He would keep most of them. But I feel like the most interesting part when I'm buying a used book is seeing what is in the book besides
Yeah.
just the book. I think that's really interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I am more interested in the book as just words. I'm more interested in the book as like a thing that I've experienced. There's a lot of people that will like check out a book from the library and then if they really like the book, they'll purchase the book afterwards, but then to me like that's not the book that I interacted with, so
Hmm.
it doesn't feel like why would I just buy a pristine book that I'm probably going to if I reread, it's going to be in years. You know, it doesn't feel the same to me because I'm not
Yes.
having that like experience with the book. So I don't know. I have a lot of feelings and thoughts about my book collection and the books that I have. Again, my to be read shelves are too much. I would prefer it if it was less than 1,000.
Yeah.
um, But I mean, obviously, I prefer it was less than 300, probably that would be, like, a good number, 300 unread books, I think is
Yeah.
a decent
I've
amount.
worked on that myself. Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely have a problem in, like, the sense I know it's not a problem, but I do feel like the expectations that I have of myself are stronger than, like, my actual ability because I'm a busy person, like, it's unrealistic to think that I can read 20 books a month just because other people can, like, that's not my lifestyle, so
Grace, let's not give her too much credit. Calm down. Let's be kind, Grace, but not
you just
condescending.
put that on screen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to become a minimalist by any means, but I just am the type that I want to look at my shelves and I want to feel fucking pumped about everything. Like, that I've read the books I love and that inspire me and inspire who I am in a creative sense and really get that going. That's what I want. And not this log of stuff I've read.
Yeah. I could probably cull my red shelves, but
No.
it's so hard, you know? Like, I don't want to. We're gonna move eventually, and I feel like when we move, maybe I'll call I don't think I would be able to call my unread shelves because, again, like, these are all worlds of
Mhm.
possibility behind me, but
Sure.
the red shelves, you have already experienced it. If it's not something that yeah, like, I don't know. I feel more that way about my DVD collection where I want my DVD collection because you can get almost anything streaming, so I want my DVDs to really represent
Yes.
who I am. So,
Mhm.
anyways,
No.
I don't know what just happened.
Let's burn a book live, Stephanie.
Yeah,
Pick one book you don't want, we'll burn it.
I already got rid of it. Ugh. I mean, I don't keep the books that I'm trying to
Oh God, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Oh, he says dad. He says dad.
Oh, I wanna get my baby too.
He says, Dad, I don't want to die. He says, look into the eyes, I don't want to die. Oh, God is turning into God. We're sad. We're sad. We're turning into cat people. Oh God. Oh God, my return. This is my return. Oh, I was supposed to come back in style, and I'm talking about cats and dying with my
Well,
hordes of books.
we're on my channel, so it doesn't
Oh,
matter.
that's true. Nobody's going to
But
see
we're yeah.
that.
This is second rate over here, so whatever. Okay, so last one. What books do you need to read by the end of the year?
I always hate this question. I don't know. I picked one that I'm in the middle of, which is Slave Narratives, which is the Library of America collection, which is a phenomenal, just like talk about a book that will stay on my shelves forever. It's yeah, everywhere from Nat Turner to Frederick Douglass to Harriet Jacobs. It's just this incredible collection. I've been slowly working my way through it, and it's not only, I mean, of course it's harrowing in a lot of ways and very sad, but we have the tendency to stereotype what a slave means, what that means to us, and what we see in our mind's eye. And this is a great example of the many different types of lives that different slaves left. And um, for example, I can't pronounce his name, but it's Aluda Equiano, who was a slave brought from Africa, and his story, it is partly, yes, a story about slavery, and he was bought and sold many times, but he sailed the seas and he fought pirates and he became learned wherever he could. And he went through all of these just insane adventures. And sometimes we forget that there's all these stories, that it's not just all the same story, that we sometimes kind of in our mind's eye plop on to that experience. So this is incredible, man. So that's the one book I want to work my way through before the end of the year.
Yeah. I don't know why I have like problem with those or what are they called? The Everyman's.
The Library of America. I love these.
I don't know why I don't like the way they look very much, but maybe I'm interested in
I
that.
usually am against. I don't like omnibuses where you have multiple stuff in one, and it has the Bible thin pages. But these, I love the idea. Again, talking about space. Maybe not with this, but or even with this. If I was to get each one of these books, some of these are book length, some of them are quite shorter. I mean, it would take up this much space on my shelf. They pack a ton in here, so the idea that I can all have it kind of fit in one little spot is very appealing to me.
Yeah, I will say I think I watched Ghost World a lot when I was growing up, which is a weird transition from that.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of like a cozy house with lots of crap in it. So I feel like I would love to have all of those maybe as individuals. So maybe I'll,
Oh God, it's as if you need an excuse to buy.
I don't, and I'm being really
by 15 to make up that collection.
I have only purchased 3 books so far this month, and I've finished one, and I'm part of the way through a different one. So just wanted to put that out there. Okay. I don't really have a response to this question because do we need to read anything? No. We don't need to read anything. I should finish some unread books that I again have not finished. Because I get distracted easily.
Is there a priority among the many books that you need to finish?
I think actually, yeah, you're right. I need to finish this book. I'm holding on to this, and it's making me really sad that I haven't finished it. 2666 by Roberto Bolaño, translated by Natasha Wimmer. I was loving it, and I told Jake to read it. He listened to it on audiobook, so that's why he was able to finish it, I think, faster than me.
That rabbit hole.
What?
Let's not go down that rabbit hole, Jake. That down.
But he did finish it, and I'm still,
he finished listening to it.
Yeah, but he finished it.
Yeah, he finished listening.
He finished listening to it. So I would like to. I'm just in the section just where a bunch of women are raped and murdered, which again doesn't really.
Well, you should read on. Maybe they're going to kill the guys who raped them and get rid of their bodies.
I don't think that's what the book is about.
You don't think Bolaño's that progressive?
No. Well, I think that is progressive what he's doing, but I do not think that that's what the tone of the book is. I think it's just going to continue to be lots of women being raped and murdered, which again doesn't exactly bother me in fiction. You know what I mean? I'm reading a book, so I can take a lot when I'm reading. Mm-hmm. But I just keep getting distracted by other things. So if I could finish this by the end of this month, wouldn't that be great? I'm on 464. I've got 400.
I really admire about you, and that we've talked about before, is that you can put a book down and pick it back up and not lose a beat, because I'm definitely not that sort of person. So I admire that, you can, pick that back up and polish it off. I have faith in you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably not like that with every book that I've started, but I am like that with a lot of books. So yeah, I guess that would be like priority number 1. But if I could if I could get rid of any of the books on my cart of shame, I would be happy.
I have faith in you. I've noticed a progression as you've gone on, Stephanie, and you are getting more, in tune with what you're meant to be in regards to your obsession with reading. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, this is still something you need to tackle in the new year. It's like
Right.
these goals and
Oh,
challenges. We've been down this time and time again. It's like, you
yeah,
know, it's like being at AA, and it's like you're never gonna give up the booze.
yeah,
So I'm not gonna give you any more chips because you're out of control, and we've accepted it.
correct. I'm gonna put that up there because goals. Great question, Grace. I'm gonna PBR for that later in the month because next
Or is
month
it Women in Translation Month?
is Women in Translation.
Oh, that means I can't read any this month. Sorry, ladies. We'll see you on the flip side.
You can read Women this month. I mean, I should probably read this.
Oh, you haven't read it yet.
We'll just add that to the list. I don't know. What else should we add to the list?
Well, Grace, are we going to read Fernanda?
Oh,
We're going to read this for Women in Translation. Yeah.
I know, Grace. Weren't we going to read that one book? The oh my gosh.
She said she doesn't do buddy reads. Now suddenly what?
This one. Hold on. I'm coming. Lady Joker. That's by a woman, isn't it?
I just wish more women were better writers so I had more options. You know what I mean? Oh, you're back.
Wait, what was it that you said?
What? Nothing.
Can I say it again? I missed it.
I just wish women were better writers so I have more options.
Okay.
On your channel, nonetheless. Oh my God.
Yeah. Super rude. Yeah, Grace, I feel
Oh.
like we were gonna read this together last year.
Volume 1. Good fucking luck, Grace. Volume 1. You need to start with a little guy. Volume 1 of a Japanese thriller. That does look interesting, though. What do we have? Oh, look at that. It is Japanese, right?
Yes, Tokyo 95. 5 men meet at a racetrack. I hate reading synopses. Who cares? Look at it. Do you need anything else? Go on Goodreads. Okay.
Title, but that sounds good. I'm into it. A Japanese thriller. Yeah.
I don't know when it was originally written, but anyways, yeah. So that's probably all I'll be able to read in August if I pick that up. Let's all be honest. But yeah, I am not going to be doing.
Put a pin in this video because I guarantee we're going to touch base next year, and 3/4 of Lady Joker left on the docket.
I am notoriously the worst person to buddy read anything with.
I know, that's why I've only done one buddy read with you.
Did I finish the book?
I think you did. It was The Savage Detectives.
Yes, I finished it, but not while we were.
I was the only one in that group that didn't like that book.
Months later, it was so good. Anyways, oh wow, untranslatable. Doesn't that make it even more like intriguing?
Or it means it might be bad because there's a reason for that. But let's hope not. I hope it's great.
I think it's gonna be amazing. I can sense it. I have a good sense of what is good, just like you do, right, Adam? You can tell if you're gonna like something or not.
That's why I don't have a lot of duds because that's why I don't understand these people who are like always DNFing books. Yeah. Like, how shitty is your taste that you're constantly starting and having to put down books? Like, get a fucking grip, people. DNFing. I don't DNF because I have good taste.
Okay.
Well, I mean, do you agree or disagree?
I agree that you have great taste. I also agree that it's important to DNF books if you're not enjoying them.
But why are you reading books that you're not enjoying?
Because you don't know you don't enjoy it until you pick it up and start reading it.
Starting beef with the Brits.
Oh, wait, why is this?
Proud. Stephanie, you notice I didn't say anything bad about anybody except Australians. Well, that's a people, not a person.
Why beef with the Brits again? I don't know. This is turning into like a really weird territory.
I'm just saying that I'm keeping it positive because I'm on your channel and I'm really thankful to be a guest on your channel. And it's such a joy to do this with you. Our 3rd annual book tag. Are you gonna do more live now that you've done it on your channel?
The stress was real trying to get this. In case anyone was wondering why I was 2 minutes late, no one probably noticed, but I couldn't get my thing to work. So I don't know. I feel like for the Invisible Cities project, it would be nice if we did like live chats every once in a while, which is another project that I'm involved in case
I'm
it's out.
involved with no projects. But
Well,
I'm involved with no projects, but
I
I'm here to support it. And yeah, I think it's a good format, and I think you do very well in it. So, yeah. We're gonna end with your
Oh,
boot.
Bujo. Oh, there it is.
Let's see what your inspiration is this month.
I guess I don't really know what you want, Grace.
Oh, give us a flip through.
So here's my cover, which
Love
is
a little banana.
that banana. Wait, the banana's over here with the butt.
Oh,
I don't know. I just really don't know what to show you.
Here's
Here's
my on there.
My cat page. What'd you say?
Need a sticker of me to put on there.
I would put a sticker of your face on my bullet journal.
Write that down.
But I don't have one. I have, me and Jake's save the dates and our whatever. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know. It's really quite boring. Oh, here's a cute picture of Jake.
Oh, look at that guy.
So cute. Close up on the cat page.
How's married life?
Makes me happy, my Bujo. Lately, I just really haven't been using my bullet journal that much.
How is married life?
It's just the exact same as being not married. I forgot. Are you and Tay married?
Yes.
Okay. How long ago did you guys get married?
Married 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Together, we have been together 10 years this November.
Aww. Yeah, I always forget. I forget if people are married or not. I have a card that Heidi sent me. I have it in here so that when I'm sad, I can open it and read it.
Close up on the cat page. Look at Grace.
Yeah.
Grace, are you into these weird Bujo people?
It's not full yet, so there's space to grow.
It's pretty fucking full. What is that? Cat in a mug? You're acting crazy, Karen. Get your oh, that's pretty cute. That's pretty cute. These Etsy moms, you guys, they're coming up with some good cat stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Here's my reading. I'm behind, I think, by a couple of books. I don't know. My energy all of a sudden has.
Are we tapering off?
I think I've been deflated like a balloon. This was a lot of energy and work.
Well, I tend to bring that out, but we'll wrap it up. You guys, thank you for joining us on Time to Read. It was such a joy, and I'm happy, and I will be back soon. Alex, it was great to see you. I'll await our live stream soon.
Ooh, oh my gosh, I would kill to watch that.
Yeah. Well, we just put it into the air, Alex, so we'll fit that. But yes, thank you guys, and Stephanie, we'll do it again soon. Yeah, don't let's not wait a year. This is going to be a new regular segment, you guys, coming to Time to Read.
I mean,
figure out
if I will not argue with chatting with you more than once a year.
Okay, good. All right, I'll let you go.
Okay.
Okay, see you guys later. Bye. Happy summer. Merry Christmas.
Too fucking hot.